All right, welcome back, race fans. This is the Ultimate Racing Network. This is round 6 rather, of our V8 Supercars Championship. We are at Rio de Janeiro, the full circuit here for V8 Supercars. It's going to be a very intense street circuit race here. There's going to be 2 races. Right now, this is 20 minutes qualifying. I'm your host, Ryan McDowell. With me, as usual, is Ryan Shelton. Say hello.
Hey, you guys. What's going on?
All right, so we're going to get our timing car into position here, but we do have 20 minutes of qualifying around this rather treacherous street circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely a little different than Long Beach. The speeds are higher, and there's a lot less slow spots per se. Which could help out, but with the speeds being higher and the walls being just as close, you'll definitely see some carnage happen. It's just a matter of making sure you last the entire race. See, these guys are just, getting their first laps in. This will be a 20-minute qualifying, and around this track, it is definitely not a short lap. So you're going to have to make the most of every single lap. I think total, they'll probably get in about 4 or 5 actual flying laps in.
Well, unfortunately, our timing car here just got some damage. Let's see what I can do. Let me switch the stream over here.
Making sure not to go inactive.
Right, exactly. So I'll run this thing through the pits. Right, so they're on their out lap right now. This first lap is hardly going to count for anything. Only valid laps are going to count here. So this is going to be incredibly challenging, I think, just to get a decently quick, clean time.
Yeah, especially through this triple chicane they've got going on here. It's there's gonna be a lot of tires flowing through there too, so we're just gonna have to deal with that also. But yeah, this lap is definitely not an easy one.
This is actually probably one of the more difficult ones on the circuit. I mean, we talked about Long Beach being difficult, but I think that this might actually be a little bit more challenging. Long Beach didn't have that many turns, but was brutally punishing if you got it wrong. This is a lot of turns and still just as brutally punishing on those that can't get the track just right.
Yeah, the biggest thing about this track that's different from Long Beach is the fact that you've got a lot of turns that are very particular. It's very single line through a lot of these corners, and it's a lot more elevation changes than I think this is probably be the biggest elevation change we'll see throughout the season, other than maybe Spa, because obviously Spa's goes way up and then way back down. But this one it does seem to have a lot more on the elevation changes throughout the entire lap. Whether it be in a fantasy course, obviously Forza had a little more room to play with the track to make it flow a lot better, which it does. But with these cars, you've got a lot of mechanical grip, and this track is very, very good for downforce-based cars if you want to drive those really fast.
Currently we've got TPR Zermatt on provisional pole here with a 217.452, but I think we're definitely going to see some massive improvement out of that. This track kind of reminds me of Rally di Positano from previous iterations of the Forza games. Just so many turns that it makes it difficult to get an optimum line throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, not only that, it's very, very tight, especially coming down the huge hill, coming down through a huge shopping center where it's all downhill. There's maybe 1 or 2 lanes right there. It gets very tight on the back side of this section. The front side, you've got 4 or 5 lanes open for you. But the backside of it gets very, very tight.
So one thing to remark here as we watch them go through the chicane area, we've ruled that it would be much too difficult for these guys to try and correctly police this through the chicane area. So we've ruled that wall to wall, or rather Forza limits, are as far as they can go. There's a couple areas that can probably be exploited through that, and that's probably the chicane area there. Once the tires are gone, they can sort of just cut straight through it. I think there's enough challenge all the way around this track, but I really don't think that's going to be, the biggest of our concerns here, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and just kind of, they've got walls. That's challenging enough. First off, but those tires. The only thing about those tires, they're going to get knocked over at some point anyways, especially towards the end of the race when they're just absolutely going for it. So they're going to eventually get there anyways, so instead of having to sit here and police it and try to get down on it, just might as well just let it go.
Just right then we had LRT Nath go with a 2:16.462, a full second faster than TPR Zermatt. That's impressive stuff from the LRT guys, especially from Nath. We would expect to see that more commonly from Breeze. We know Nath has some pace, but that's impressive right there. Let's see if we can hold on to it for the remaining 14 minutes of qualifying.
Yeah, and these guys are, you can definitely tell in the way they're driving, they are trying to make sure they get down or get their good laps in first, and making sure we get a good lap to make sure you get into that top lobby, because if you get into that top lobby, you're going to get a lot of points. I mean, even finishing 20th in top lobby will do really well for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like as you said, making it into that top lobby, that top 20 driver split is absolutely critical to earning top points here.
Yeah, especially around like Rio, it's getting a good qualifying also is going to help out through the race, as that short sprint race is going to be crucial for your points, especially if you can qualify really well, because this track seems to be very, very hard to pass on. It seems to be one, maybe two places that are going to be key for passing. The rest of the track, you'll have to force the issue to make sure you get it correct. It looks like they're starting to get some laps in. It looks like some of the guys.
Looks like we've got TPR Zermatt now just taking that lead back from taking it back then from LRT Nath. He's at a 2:14.172. So now I think we're starting to see some more representative times.
Yeah, and also I think once you get closer towards the end of this session, because Devil already has, or Diablo I should say, has already taken a pit. I believe it was from damage more so than complete tire wear, but these cars do go faster on newer tires. So I'm going to expect somebody to start picking up on this pitting deal, especially with all these walls and how fast you hit these walls when you do hit them. That may actually play into the 45-minute race also with the pit strategy.
We're going to switch over then. We were on board with N6R Crazy. Why don't we pick up one of our new drivers in here? We're going to go with Mr. Stepanov. He's in 19th.
And he is definitely in a car we don't see very often here in the Turn V8 Supercars series. And Holden. He's in a Holden. Nobody drives the Holden but him.
I think it's pretty brave, and I sort of like that he's running the Holden. No, it's not the greatest choice, but really none of these cars are so bad of a choice that they should be excluded, Yeah.
But when there's, 50 some odd drivers and the Holden is excluded, it's kind of odd seeing it on track with everybody else.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Used to seeing the Volvo and the Mercedes and the Ford. And even the Nissan got kind of pushed to the side by most of these guys, but still,
The Nissan actually has considerable grip. As we approach the 10-minute mark here, we do have TPR Zermatt still on top of the 214.172. Next nearest is a 216.462 by LRT Nath, so nearly 2.5 seconds faster than the rest of the field. That's pretty impressive stuff, honestly.
Yeah,
I think it's really just a matter of whether they're going to be able to get in that perfect lap. You know, it could be tires, it could be they pick up a little bit of damage, it could be that they dirty it in one spot. I mean, several things will stop them from getting their ideal lap here. But it looks like TPR Zermatt has gotten his lap in early.
Yeah, and with you have 2 minutes of a street course. Getting a perfect lap is going to take a lot of luck and a lot of skill, because getting around this track in the first place is hard enough, and then having to do it, over the perfect lap after lap, and that's going to be very, very hard for them just to get it, perfect the first time around, or just for one time around.
Just so you know, right then, LRT Breeze goes faster with a 214.091. That's pretty impressive stuff. We've got GSR Roadrunner in 18th with a 214.940, meaning he has not put in a clean lap yet. He's going to want to get in a banker lap just so, almost anything's better than 18th at the moment.
Yeah, and that's really going to hurt him, because with him being right there in the mix for a podium position for the point standings, he doesn't want to miss out on a top lot.
Definitely not. All right, we're going to switch over to GSR Roadrunner then. Maybe see where he's tripping up a little bit.
Well, taking a look how these guys are taking this track, a lot of them are actually jumping that last part of the triple chicane, which I think is awesome. How he jumps.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, these cars get pretty aggressive on curbing anyway, but yeah. Agreed. The jumping of the car is pretty spectacular, especially if they can keep it clean. It'll be interesting to see what that does to these cars over the length of a race. I mean, I don't think it'll affect race 1, our 20-minute race, but perhaps the long race, it can take its toll on the car.
Yeah, especially if some of these guys try to pit early in the race, and then towards the end of the race, they may have some suspension damage from that. But this track is definitely not easy at all.
Definitely not easy. We see GSR Roadrunner here. You've got to get all the way to the edge of the wall to really get the most out of the car's ability to turn. Here in the tunnel, no lights really on the car, so that it makes it very difficult to know where your turn-in points are.
Yeah, not only that, it's a very long corner also. It's just long in general, which just makes it hard to figure out where you need to turn. I mean, even if it was, brightest day in there with, you could see the end of the corner, it's still hard to figure out where the apex is, where your turn-in point is. A lot of these corners are kind of like that. They're just very blind, and you're just hoping you turned in at the right point.
All right, so we've got 6.5 minutes rather to go. Let me give you a quick rundown. We've got LRT Breeze, TPR Zermatt, F4H Diablo, N6R Gannon, LSR Baloo in 5th. That's incredible for him. He's got a 2:15.629. I'll run through those times here real quick. We've got a 2:14.091 from LRT Breeze. We've got a 2:14.172 from TPR Zermatt. So just a 10th off there. Let me make sure I'm keeping the timing car going here. We've got F4H Diablo with a 2:14.780. He's at least in the ballpark. He's within a second. Then it's a full second to N6R Gannon in 4th. He's got a 2:15.597. LSR Baloo then in 5th, a 2:15.629 could move up, actually. He's only a 10th off. So it just goes to show this is kind of exciting, seeing that it really isn't going to take much for some of these top guys to be out of position here.
Yeah, and that's what happens with these short, 20-minute qualifyings. On a long track, you really have to make sure you get your perfect lap in quickly. Make sure you also get a banker lap, but sometimes that banker lap may not even be enough, especially looking at, last week at Monza, where it was, a second and a half, I believe, from first to 20th on the endurance race.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one change for the race that is approaching in about 4.5 minutes. Qualifying will be over. In about 40 minutes, we'll have the race. What's going to be a change for this week is we've switched to rolling starts for these races, only because of a change in the way that the game does inactivity. If drivers are stationary for about a minute, they will get removed from the multiplayer session. That's really not something that we're willing to risk with as much on the line. I mean, we're 6 races in now. It would be terrible to lose somebody just due to what I would call a bug in the game. So yeah, we're going to switch to rolling starts, which may give the leader a little bit more of an advantage than he would otherwise have. Takes a little bit out of having a good start, but I think the way that we do it really isn't too bad. There is still such a good thing as a good and bad start. It's just it's a bit muted from what it was with a standing start.
Yeah, and also rolling starts kind of add a new dynamic to the series. Rolling starts have been really big in NASCAR, and a lot of other series just do kind of just a standing start. But I think seeing these cars do a rolling start is going to change it up, but also it's going to cut down on some of the turn 1 discretions that we'll have later on if we had standing starts.
Fast Bud, yes, we are running with GSR Roadrunner at the moment. He is currently running in, let's see here, 3rd place. So TPR Zermatt then has gone faster at 2:13.831 for him, setting the bar even higher. We knew 13s were going to be possible. It's impressive to see it done in just 20 minutes time. We've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go here, so really those that are getting ready to cross the line, this will be their final lap. Those that are out on their lap, this is probably their last one.
Zermatt took the lead, and then he decided to hit one of the tire barriers. So he is definitely done. He has put his 13.8 on the board, and he'll continue to keep that pole lap as Breeze has put down another lap. Just not quick enough though.
Mr. Stepanov also struggling to get a solid time in here. He is a 2:19, but it's dirty at the moment. A 2:19 would put him 13th. Well, actually, he's got a 2:19.396. So yeah, that would actually put him 12th. We've got a minute and a half left here. GSR Roadrunner making contact with the wall. We're going to switch to another driver. Let's go to LSR Baloo, who is running much faster than we expected, really.
Yeah, and this track will it will bring, it'll bring some of the top guys up, and you'll obviously see the guys up top. They have a huge advantage over those on the bottom, but some of the lower guys may be able to take advantage of that, and they do really well at this track, because this track is definitely different. When you're looking at the tracks that we've been running, it's a different track than what we've been running throughout the entire series overall, because it is a very fast flowing track, and the only other track that seems to even fit that bill close that we've been doing is maybe the Bugatti circuit.
Yeah, that could be. I could see that. So
Most of our other ones have been, you know, stop and go tracks.
looks like we've had a couple of guys that have been removed for inactivity, unfortunately. Just 7 seconds remaining. It does look like TPR Zermatt is going to take pole here with that 2:13. We'll get the final results here in just a minute.
Yes, some of those times are really, really close.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we will get these results tallied here. Again, join us at the top of the hour at 3 p.m. Eastern for the race. We will be back for race 1, roughly a 20-minute race around Rio. I really can't wait to see what happens here. I think this is going to be a little bit of chaos, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what it does to the championship. We could see an unexpected win here, maybe somebody's first. Could be that we see some of the leaders just totally retire from the race due to frustration or other things, and I think that makes this a little bit of a wild card race.
Yeah, with the way that the timesheet has come out, I really think we're gonna see something different here. It's not gonna be the same. You'll definitely see the guys up top, but you'll probably see one of these guys end up not being able to finish the race where they'd like to, and it's gonna change the points tremendously.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we'll sign off for now. We'll come back up at probably about 10 minutes to the hour, and we'll get this stream going for the race. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for watching.